Hey guys, Larry here, and today I'm going to give you my top 10 hot takes about Ultimate. These are things I believe to be controversial or not heavily agreed upon. And with that being said, let's get right into it. Don't really know how much of a hot take this is, but I'm going to put it on here anyways. I don't think Joker is the best character in the game. He's still incredibly top tier, but especially with the nerfs he received, I think there's at least one character better than him. I think the downward guns nerf is going to make Joker struggle in matchups he normally didn't because he lost a really good landing option. The arson nerf is also going to make it slightly easier to make Joker's meter run out for more characters. Joker has some matchups that are widely considered bad for him, such as Inkling, Pikachu, and Pichu. I'm currently on the Pikachu as the best character train, but there's honestly like 3 or 5 characters it could be at this point. Samus, in my opinion, was high tier in the previous patch, and with 7.0, she got some incredible buffs that I believe propel her into top tier territory. The range on her attacks gives her the ability to consistently rack up damage from a distance that is relatively safe while still putting pressure on the opponent and keeping them at bay. She has the longest range grab and Zair in the game, which just adds to the variety of pressure she can put on the opponent. In certain scenarios, she could confirm into kills using her range attacks, or attempt to in spaces where the opponent can't do much against it. Her biggest issue is lacking consistent kill options and having some kill moves that just don't work well. In 7.0, a lot of those issues have been fixed, and they gave her a stronger kill throw as well. Really interested to see Samus's results when top representatives of the character attend majors in the upcoming months. She's definitely not the best character in my opinion, but criminally overlooked. This is something I've said since Brawl, and it's that Hazards on Smashville is a terrible stage and should be banned. I don't understand why so many people like it. The moving platform just creates an additional obstacle that you have to worry about in certain situations. If it's at the right place at the right time, it could lead to getting super early kills, help recoveries, and extend combos. While these do sound good, it's just not consistent and pretty much comes down to luck, in my opinion. I'd honestly be fine with the stage if it was just that, but the moving platform also makes platform camping for a lot of characters very easy to do and just promotes timeouts. It's not something we saw much of in Smash 4, but I think it would be more likely in Ultimate because of the additional stock and aerials being harder to punish on shield. If playing on hazards become the norm, I hope this stage does not come back. Like hazards on Smashville, I think that Kalos is a terrible stage. I feel as though the platforms being past the edge of the stage make it really easy for someone to go for timeouts if they really wanted to. Fortunately, we don't have very many people going for it, and I also feel like it's one of the stages a lot of people end up banning anyways. Something else I want to add is that I feel as though some rule sets add more stages for the sake of having them. It is cool to have some stage variety, but I think when it hurts the competitive nature of the game, they should be removed even if it gives us less stages to play on. I think Ivysaur is the worst character out of the 3 Pokemon you can use as Pokemon Trainer. When I mean worst, I mean that if you were only able to use one Pokemon and not switch, then Ivysaur would give you the worst results out of the 3. I think the area where the character struggles the most, in my opinion, is neutral. The range on Ivysaur's attacks are good, but having below average mobility in the air and ground can make it difficult to catch opponents. Razor Leaf has some pretty good follow-ups out of it, but it's pretty slow, making it hard to hit against players who are aware of her options. It's fairly unsafe on shield and can be cancelled out by other attacks as well. Her fastest out of shield option is frame 10, which isn't that fast, especially when the opponent knows they don't have to worry about her shield grab, which comes out on frame 17. She has amazing edge guarding with down air, but without Squirtle, it seems like it would be much more difficult to be in a position to use it. I think that overall, Ivysaur is incredibly useful when combined with Charizard and Squirtle. In fact, she might be the most useful of the 3 when put in situations she's really strong in, but by herself just isn't nearly as good. I think Dave's stupid rule, aka DeusArt, is a stupid rule. In case you guys don't know what that is It's a rule used in tournaments that prevents you from counterpicking to the same stage you won a match on. While this sounds like a smart idea, because of the small number of stages legal, sometimes you're stuck going to a stage that's more favorable to your opponent and not yourself. Typically in a best of 3 set, I think it's fine, but in a best of 5, it gets kind of ridiculous because you can end up with 4 stages being banned since your opponent is able to ban 2 stages of their choosing. What bothers me the most about the rule is that your opponent isn't even choosing to ban the stage. I think an easy fix to the rule is to just increase the number of bans instead of making a rule that bans for you. Being able to decide what stages you should or shouldn't play on is a skill in itself, in my opinion, and players who are good at making those choices should be rewarded. I think the parry mechanic is good. While I do miss power shielding, I feel like it made shielding a bit too overpowered across the board. Quickly shielding, dropping your shield, and shielding again was good in a lot of cases in Smash 4. You could say the same thing about Ultimate, but I personally believe it's a lot harder to do and doesn't really give you as strong of a reward for doing it. The change to shield also made you have to respect projectiles more for 2 reasons. The first reason is immediately raising your shield to block is a lot worse. Because you can't power shield at the start of your shield anymore, you take damage from the projectile hitting you and will probably not be in a position to punish it as easily as you would before. You have to rely more on moving around to avoid projectiles. Second one is you normally don't get much off of parrying a projectile. Because they're done at a distance, you're normally not in range to actually do anything after the parry, and like before, are usually better off just avoiding it. While I personally don't like that, I feel like it was a good change balance-wise. Parrying a move doesn't give you that much bigger of a frame advantage, but it gives you access to attacks you wouldn't normally be able to do out of shield because you are no longer shielding. If you parry the right attack and understand your frame data, you're able to get some hefty punishes. I think it was a smart idea and leads to people thinking more about the risk reward of doing it. I personally feel like the only thing they should change about shielding is making up B out of shield a bit slower. If you've seen my video on tether grabs, you probably already know this, but I think that tether grabs are better than normal grabs. I'm not going to go into much detail about it, but if you're interested in learning more about why I think this, you should check out the video I did on it, which I will have linked in the description. So coming from Smash 4 to Ultimate, regular grabs were nerfed across the board, and tether grabs for the most part got buffed. Shield grabbing also got nerfed, which doesn't really matter much to tether grabs, but it greatly affected regular grabs in my opinion. Tether grabs are disjoints, so they can beat out attacks, while regular grabs cannot. Again, that is a super brief explanation about it, but if you want to know more, you should check out the video I did. I feel like the general consensus is that Little Mac is currently the worst character in Ultimate, but this is something I completely disagree with. While I don't think he's an amazing character, he has some traits that are just downright broken. The ability to use a super strong kill move that's unblockable is pretty ridiculous. I think that of all the characters most people tend to put into bottom or low tier, Little Mac is able to cause more upsets if he's able to play to his own strengths. The character that I currently think is the worst in the game is Corrin. While I do think the character has some uses and we've seen Cosmos get an upset with the character, I just feel like they're lacking in a lot of ways compared to the rest of the cast, and their strengths don't make up for it as much as the other characters. That being said, it's crazy to think that no matter who you believe the worst character in the game is, they're still somewhat viable and have some use because this game is just incredibly balanced. I do think that Peach and Daisy are amazing characters, top tier for sure, but I just don't think they're top 10 in the game. Their damage output is some of the best in the game, but I feel as though people heavily overrate their neutral game. It seems incredibly difficult for them to consistently get in on characters that have a lot of range, especially if they use projectiles. Again, I'm not saying that I think the princesses are bad, but to me, they just don't scream top 10 in the game with how many other incredible characters there are. And that's it for the video. Do you agree or disagree with any of my hot takes? Let me know in the comments below. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and if you really liked it, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.